Hello all, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video we are going to discuss how we can use Azure Application Gateway to host multiple websites or multiple applications. So let's understand with the help of this particular diagram. So for example, I have two applications. One is www.trash.com and another application I have www.dev.com. And this both the application I want to access using a single application gateway. So what is happening here? I'm creating a test pool. This is the backend pool for this particular application, and this is the another backend pool for this particular application. And this particular application, test.com is hosted on VM1 and dev.com is hosted on VM2. This is what we are going to implement in this particular video, and we are going to see how application gateway work to host multiple websites or multiple sites. So let's quickly move to Azure portal. So the very first thing, I'm going to create a resource group here. So let me create a resource group. So I'll provide the name as demo, and location I will choose my region Central India, and I'll create. Next thing what I will do, as per this diagram, I'm going to create two virtual machine, VM1 and VM2. So let's create a virtual machine. Before that, let's create a virtual network, because I for application gateway and virtual machine, they should communicate with each other. So there are two options which you can utilize. The first option, you can create a virtual network, and on a same virtual network you can create application gateway and virtual machine. And another option, you can create a two virtual network, one for application gateway and another for virtual machines. And then you can create a virtual network peering between both the virtual networks, so they can communicate with private IP or internally. So let's quickly create a virtual network. So here I'm gonna give name vnet hyphen app gateway, and rest all the fields I will remain blank. So you sorry, so you can see here there is only one subnet which is going to create as part of this virtual network. So I will create another virtual network for app gateway application gateway, because in application gateway you have to use a separate subnet where you cannot create any other resources. So let's create a default subnet as part of this virtual network. Then we will create another subnet as part of this virtual network, and that subnet we will use for application gateway. So it is going to take couple of minutes to create the virtual network. Okay, it's completed. Let's go to resources, and here I will go to subnet. So this is the one subnet I have here, and you can see the CIDR range /24. Let's create one more subnet here, and I provide here name app gateway hyphen subnet. So now we have two subnet default where we will create our virtual machine, and another subnet app gateway. Here we will create our application gateway. So let's first create a virtual machines. So in this case, I'm going to create two virtual machines. I'll choose my resource group as demo. VM name I'll provide here dev VM. So it will be easy to identify, and I don't want any availability zone. And image I will choose Windows Server, and rest all the fields I will keep remain same. So I'll provide here credential to connect to the virtual machine, and I will allow the port 3389, because we are going to install the IaaS server on both the virtual machines, so we can deploy some HTML pages and we will verify okay if it's working or not. So in networking, I will choose my default subnet, and also it is going to create a public IP address. So next, okay, rest all the fields I will leave as it is, and just hit on review and create. Now similarly, I will create another virtual machine, uh, VM2, which is test VM. This is the dev VM which we have created. Let's quickly go to virtual machine. Now I will give the name here test VM, and availability zone, again I will choose no availability options required, and here I will provide my credential. And again in networking I will choose my default subnet. Now I will create, hit on review and create. So this is gonna take couple of minutes. Once the deployment is completed, I'll resume back the video. So now both the virtual machines are ready, and I have logged in to both the virtual machines. So this is 10.239. So this is the dev VM, and this is dot 175.67. So this is our test VM. Now what I will do, I will install the IaaS server on this particular virtual machine. So I'll go to server manager, and from here I will add roles and features. I will choose here web server. Now similar step I will follow in the another virtual machine, which is test VM. Okay, let's verify if IaaS is installed on a dev VM or not. So it's going on. It will take couple of minutes to set up the IaaS server on this particular virtual machine. So we will wait until the installation is completed. So now installation is completed in the both the VM, dev VM. It's completed. Let's close this and let's verify on a test VM also. So it's completed. Now to verify if IaaS is installed or not, I'll just open my Google Chrome, and here I will search for localhost. Okay. So we can see the IaaS server homepage. It means IaaS is installed on this particular virtual machine. Let's quickly verify on another virtual machine as well. Okay, so in both the VM IaaS is installed. Now what I will do, because if I will add these virtual machine as a backend pool, it is not possible to verify which one is working fine, which one is dev and which one is test, because in the both the virtual machine the page is same. So what I will do, I will do some modification on this particular page. So this is our virtual machine 239 is a dev VM. So I'll go to Windows Explorer, and here I will go to the document root. This is the HTML page which is serving this particular IaaS home page. So I'll just remove this particular image here, and let me add it. And here what I will do, I have already created the HTML pages. So here I will edit this and paste the content on this particular server. Now let me again browse it. So if I refresh this page, now we can see welcome to the dev virtual machine, and 239 is our dev virtual machine. Now similarly I will do for another VM, which is test virtual machine. So I will remove this home page image and I will edit this particular HTML file, and I will add the content of this particular test.html file, and let me save this file. So if I'll again browse it, now welcome to the test virtual machine. So the backend pool where our application is deployed is set up, completed. Now what next we have to do, we have to create a application gateway. So I'll go to application gateway and I'll create a new application gateway here. So I will choose my resource group, which is demo in my case, and the name I will provide here demo app gateway, and tier I will choose B2, it's fine. Auto scaling, I don't want any auto scaling, and virtual network I will choose my VNet. And here you have to choose the subnet, app gateway subnet, because you cannot use the default subnet. You can see subnet must only have application gateway, so you have to use app gateway subnet. Now go to front end part. So I will create a new public IP address. So I will provide name here app gateway public IP. Now in backend pool we have to create a two backend pool because we have two virtual machines. So I will provide here dev hyphen backend pool, and here I will select my virtual machine, and the name here I provide the dev virtual machine dev VM, and now I will click on add. Similarly I will add another backend pool. Now I will name it test hyphen backend pool, and here I will choose my virtual machine, the test virtual machine, and I will save it. Next go to configuration. So now we have a front end and back end pool. We have to add a routing rule. So again we have to create two routing rule here, one for dev and one for test. So I will create a dev rule first, and priority we have I'll give 100, and listener also dev listener. And now in a listener type you have to choose here multi-site, because we are going to create a multiple websites on this application gateway, and here you have to provide the name. So I will provide dev www.dev.com. this is the domain name or host name from which I will browse these application or these HTML pages which I have deployed. Now next I have to add here backend target. So I will use here dev pool, and backend setting also we have to add. So I will add here dev backend setting, and I will add it. Now again we have to create a new rule for test. So I will provide here name test rule. Priority I can give priority 200. Listener name test, and again we have to choose your multi-site, and you have to provide the name here www.test.com, and here I will choose backend pool as my test backend pool, and again we have to create a backend second settings here. So I will name it test settings. So now we have created a two routing rules, one for dev, one for test, and front end. This is the one public IP address which we will get as part of application gateway, and these are the backend pool which we have created. Now we will review and create. Let's click on create. So again it's gonna take couple of minutes to create the application gateway. Let's wait until the deployment is not completed. So now application gateway deployment is completed. Let me go to resources, and I will take the public IP address. Okay, this is the application gateway. So let's try to browse the application with public IP address of the application gateway. So we are getting 404 because we have defined the backend pool and the domain or host name at www.dev.com. So let's quickly verify it. So it's saying you don't have permission to access these resources. So now what we have to do, why we are not able to access this particular dev.com, or let's verify test.com also. So you can see there's some other pages we are getting here, but we have defined, we have created the HTML pages. So what we will do, we will add this particular IP addresses in my host file, and we will map that particular IP address, the public IP address of application gateway, with this domain names or the host names. So let's copy the public IP address and let me open my host file. So you can see the location of host file: C drive, Windows, system32, driver, etc, and host. So here I have to add this particular IP address and host name. And here I will map it www.dev.com, and same thing we have to do for test. So I will change here test.com, and let's save it. Now again we will verify it. So you can see we are getting welcome to dev virtual machine, and let's verify the test.com as well. Okay, so some other page it's going on. Let's verify the name what we have defined here in a routing rule. So backend target, backend settings. Okay, now let me go to backend pool. Okay, so we have to go to listeners here, and so this is the name. Let me open the Chrome in an incognito mode. So you can see here, welcome to the test virtual machine. So due to cache or something, that's why it's not loading on this particular browser or this tab. So you can see now we have two application which is deployed or which is using application gateway. So this test.com, and this is the dev virtual machine. This is the test virtual machine. and we have created two backend pools and two routing rules, and we have mapped this particular domain name and IP addresses of application gateway in my host file. This is the some dummy name which I have used. If you have any fully qualified domain name and that is registered with your what is called domain provider, then you can utilize that ones, because you only will have rights to access that particular domain. And in my case, I'm using some dummy names here. That's what I have to add in my host file. So that's all basically for today. I hope it's clear how we can use application gateway to host multiple websites. If you have three virtual machines or three applications deployed, again you have to create a three backend pool and three routing rules to use application gateway for your application. So I hope it's clear. That's all for today. See you next video. Thank you so much.